Welcome. Today is your sixth session in this Apprenticing Jesus small group study, The Journey to Transformation. Today, we look at the chapter that you just read this week, which is chapter 5, the spiritual practice of authenticity. My definition for authenticity is being true to what's so for you for the purpose of creating connection and value with another. It's about getting real in committed relationship for the purpose of connection. And when we embrace this spiritual practice, God visits it in a big way. In Romans 12:9, we're told to love without hypocrisy. And that word hypocrisy is a very interesting word. It literally means to wear a mask. Like in ancient Greek theater, when the actors would play different parts and then they'd wear different masks to represent the different characters that they were playing. It means hypocrisy, it means to be an actor. Like you're playing a part, to project an image that's not authentically you. The truth of the matter is that we all do this. We all project images, inflated views of self, exaggerated putting on airs or things that we think we need to put on so that we get that projected so we can be accepted, successful, be loved. We play the part that we think we need to play to get through life, but that's not really who we are all the time. And these are finely tuned survival strategies we've been employing our whole life. And they do have some good characteristics at their root, but the problem is that we come to over-rely on them and then avoid feelings and behaviors and actions that run contrary to our self-idealized version of who we think we need to be and not exposing that to other people in an intentional way. Simply put, when we do that, we're not being authentic, we're being inauthentic. And we're not being real when we do this. Inauthenticity gets in the way of connection because people don't see the true you to be connected to. You're not connected to yourself. It diminishes the possibility of being connected to others and certainly doesn't create connection with God. A huge part of becoming more authentic is to start becoming aware, awakening to the strategies that you employ in your life that you currently are not aware of. Scripturally, it's called awakening out of slumber or becoming awake. It's increasing your awareness of what you previously did not know that you did not know. So increased awareness of what is going on inside of you, your emotional state, your instinctual state, your internal sensations. Recognizing that is huge. And usually we're not that aware of them. Usually they have us more than we have them. And secondly, having an increased awareness of the impact that you have on others is key. That's about waking up to how people really experience you, not just what they tell you to make you feel good. To become more aware of this, you have to be willing to get off your inflated view of yourself. William Glasser, who is a well-known psychologist, said he has people have two views of themselves. One is inflated and the other is pure fantasy. So we often, almost all the time, have an inflated view of how well we're impacting others. So becoming aware of how we're actually impacting them is a huge part of this. John 8:32 tells us that the truth will set us free. And that word for truth is the Greek word aletheia, which literally means reality. So it's the reality of God in Scripture, and it's the reality of what's actually going on in our life versus what we're making up about it that will set us free. So the reality of the impact we're generating in our lives and the reality of what's going on inside of us and the reality of the impact we're generating on others. Being clear about that and actually tuning into that reality is the path to freedom. When this reality doesn't match up what we prefer, usually we resist even looking at it. And we play the blame game. We blame either ourselves or other people or the situation. That's how we resist it. So rather than resist, we can embrace and accept, just simply accept where we are in our current reality, even when it doesn't fit where we would prefer. And there's freedom in that. Freedom to choose. freedom to see God's hand in provision, freedom to create a path forward no matter what the circumstances are with God. The great 19th century Danish Christian philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said, "To see yourself is to die to all illusions and all hypocrisy." It takes great courage to dare to look at yourself, something that can only take place in the mirror of the Word. You must want only the truth, neither vainly wish to be flattered, nor self-tormentedly want to be made pure devil. I love that quote. This process of practicing authenticity requires vulnerability, transparency, courage, and commitment. It's an ongoing discipline. Our default at all times is to be authentic, to play the part. So being authentic also requires will and being aware in the present moment. This is one of the reasons why contemplation, practicing stillness, and contemplative prayer are so powerful. They are all practicing being aware in the present moment. And contemplative prayer also intentionally focuses on being aware in God's presence. They rewire your brain to be more prone to trying out being authentically present more often. They blaze new neuron pathways in your brain, superhighways that will lead to you being able to more easily interrupt the hypocrisy that we tend to embrace and take the road of authenticity instead, so people can connect to the real you and the true essence of who you are and who God's made you to be. This week, you had a variety of options in your contemplation daily practices regarding engaging contemplative prayer in your life. I hope you had fun with that. You can always go back and practice them more. There's so much variety and creativity in how we can engage being in God's presence. It's our playground in delighting in Him and enjoying Him delighting in us. This coming week, you're going to be reading chapter 6, Forgiveness, the Foundation of Freedom. There are some beautiful examples in that chapter of how individuals engaged forgiveness in the most difficult of situations, and their heart of forgiveness literally changed history. There are very few things in life that create stuckness in life more than unforgiveness. If you feel stuck in any area, it's always worth looking at where you may not have forgiven. And the marvelous thing is that God has modeled this for us in such a profound way. Enjoy this chapter and allow it to speak to your heart. God bless.